Hi, more documents, discussing documents. Okay, so back up a little bit. During refuel uh, 027, whatever that number is, why can't they just say refueling 027 dash when the beginning, the date of that refueling? Why does it? Why do these uh, things have to be so obscure? Obscure. Why can't they be, during the refuel of April 1st, the beginning of April 1st, 2010, blah blah blah. Well, Energy discovered the SRV vendor no longer supported the Type 1 SRV actuators which VY had. So why didn't back in refuel 027? Why didn't the Vermont Yankee notify the NRC? Why wasn't the NRC keyed into doing a investigation and an inspection report on these bad actuators? Why did we get the whole information on what the actuators can do and what the plant is? What's the plant design for those actuators? What conditions? It's just amazing that this wasn't brought up to the NRC before they installed those valves, and it's amazing that the NRC didn't have the ability to know that SRV valves. They're important guys. They're really important guys, and these guys are replacing it. And I'm going to eyeball that and make sure that they got all their I's, the T's crossed and their I's dotted. The vendor recommended replacing the Type 1 actuator with the Type 2 actuator. So is the vendor God and stuff like that? Is the vendor control of the plant licensing and stuff like that? It's just amazing. It's just this whole thing is amazing. That how come Vermont Yankee didn't report on why wasn't there a Type 2 actuator and stuff, and so they admit that the Type 1 actuator had silicon seal threads, which was 390 degrees, while a Type 2 actuator uses butane polymer, which is good to 225 degrees. The energy, listen, this kind of makes me laugh. Energy engineering staff overly relied on the vendor's recommendation and did not conduct an appropriate equivalency review on their own. Thus, the Type 2 actuator was used at Vermont Yankee was exposed to higher temperatures, which resulted in thermal degradation, air leakage into the actuator. It was exposed to higher temperatures. Thus, the Type 2 actuator was exposed to higher temperatures. So, higher temperatures, were they exposed to higher temperatures? That sentence is false. They weren't exposed to higher temperatures than normal. That's been the same temperatures for 20 years in there, give or take the season, the temperature of the surface water and stuff. So, the Type 2 actuator was used at Vermont Yankee was exposed to higher temperatures than component qualifications, which resulted in thermal degradation and air leakage from the actuator. That's how it should have said. But they're playing games. They don't want you to tell you. They don't want you to tell you up front so you'll know. They give you. There's enough information here said to 20 years from now to say, or 10 years from now to say, we disclosed everything, but we didn't disclose it. We didn't disclose it in a timely manner, in a mode that you could understand it all in one document, and stuff. And so it's kind of part of a cover-up here. That's how they do these things. They throw breadcrumbs at you, and it's all scattered around, and you can't decide what it is. And so then we get down to the most recent inspection report. This happened, was over July 1st, 2012 through September 30th, 2012. Energy modified the actuator system in 2000. Energy modified the actuator system in 2008. Well, they installed them in 2010. And so in this inspection report, this is the first time they mentioned like for like was mentioned. They had a problem with like for like. They couldn't get the exact same repair parts They couldn't get the exact same actuator that they had before the last time, and there's no explanation of why the vendor didn't have the appropriate vendor and stuff, and so didn't have the appropriate material. It's baffling that the NRC doesn't explain that, because that'd be the interest to the rest of the industry and stuff through these inspection reports. But half the time they communicate with themselves through this off normal data system, record system that isn't. There's no standards on it and stuff like that. So who the hell knows what they submit to each other? However, in consultations with the manufacturer, Energy incorrectly concluded that the changes in the actual were like for like replacements of components. This drives me crazy. Energy failed to determine the seal material for the actuator stem nut had been changed from silicon to Buna-in, right? And they don't explicitly state when the Buna-in was in there, was that was the valve in op and stuff. They don't explain that, with that, obviously that, if they had these things, are designed for the accident. I mean, you don't align the plant for normal operations. That's how you make profits. I mean, that's what that is about. But that's not your primary job of an operator. The primary job of the operator is to make sure your plant is aligned correctly for an accident. Everything is based on the accident comes first. You set your heart and soul to making that plant be able to withstand an accident and stuff like that, and to withstand an accident with a sufficient amount of safety margin. I mean, that's nuclear professionalism and stuff like that. And like I said, I know, certainty gaming. I exaggerate certainty and I exaggerate uncertainty and stuff. And that's gaming. That's falsifying the problem and stuff. And what you should, And so your job of an operator or anybody there, but especially an operator, is to make sure you personally know the facts of what's going on there. And if you depend on somebody else, you know what the quality of that information is, or you at least check it out in a few different ways to make sure that information is accurate and stuff like that. The job of an operator is to know the material condition of the plant and to know when things are off normal and to document them things accurately. So everybody in the organization knows immediately what's going on. And that's the LER system is designed to inform the rest of the industry what problems you had and how you found it out and what you should have done and stuff like that. Soul searching. And so that's that. That's you're supposed to. Disclose your heart, disclose your sins, and hopefully you've shown people you're learning from your mistakes, and you're teaching other people how to not make mistakes and stuff like that. So you set yourself up for a learning organization, and all the organizations around nuclear power are learning organizations. And according to this is how an organization slices and dices information for their own motives and their own self-interest and stuff. And there's no wider thing. There's no wider thing of how do I fit holistically in my community. I'm a disclosure of the truth. I'm the light of truth, and I'm honest and ethical, and I'm going to make sure that you see how I behave, so that you can judge for yourself whether I'm honest and ethical. And if I'm dishonest or I go off the track a little bit, I expect you to jump in there and straighten me out. Tell me what's going on. Help me. And that's working. Each other. That's our job of each other. That's what we're supposed to do. Is human condition is fragile, and we have a lot of motivations and stuff like that. And some of the motivations catch us off guard, and we do things wrong and stuff like that. One person in the universe all by himself, he's going to screw up big time. He's going to, he needs other people to help him live his life. They need people to communicate with him and tell him when he's doing good, and to make sure they tell him when he's doing wrong. To give him an opportunity to correct his behaviors and stuff like that. And you can't. The person next to you shouldn't exaggerate faults for his own reasons and stuff like that, to the best of his ability, and like. And so that's being a human being and stuff, and helping each other. And when you're playing these document games and regulation games that I only have to tell you the half truth and stuff like that, that's not being a human being. That's being a machine. That's using a set of procedures and documents and processes to turn you into a machine. You can only mechanically disclose and narrowly disclose certain things and stuff like that. You're a machine, and a machine is limited. You can't see anything. It doesn't have the brain that we do and stuff like that. It's turning you into a machine and stuff, and it's making you really stupid, and that's the problem I have broadly. That a lot of these processes and procedures, these highly organized, highly proceduralized and process organization, that's how they go off. I told you in my 2.206, procedures and rules and stuff is supposed to open the world to you. It's supposed to make you see the world greater and stuff like that. That's what rules are for. Rules are guidelines. Believe me, rules are guidelines. And it's the human heart and our human brain and our intelligence that guides us on our way to life and doing the right thing and stuff like that. Procedures and rules are evil when they blind us. They turn down the blinds and stuff like that. They grab half your intelligence from you and stuff like that. That's when rules are bad and stuff like that. And it's particularly easy to go bad in a highly rule-oriented culture and stuff. So. I still didn't get through the goddamn procedure.